Obviously Irma with its hurricane force winds, but we need to talk about the severe aspects as well. The threat that we could see tornadoes within those rain bands going up as Irma goes up towards Florida. So this watch in particular does go until noon. This means conditions are favorable for tornadoes. We'll probably see more watches get issued as we go through the day. And already we've had several tornado warnings within these rain bands, especially on the east coast of Florida. So we zoom in on one of those warnings in particular for Brevard County. This goes until 5:45, so just another minute or so. We have seen some broad rotation, perhaps more like a water spout that's about to move on shore, and there you see it right in there. So again, these can happen very quickly without much warning at all. So please be careful, get into a safe room, interior room, away from the windows as low as you can go, because we have that twisting of wind with high. This is what gets tornadoes going with a landfalling tropical system. It's the friction, it's the winds coming in from different directions, obviously with the hurricane itself. They're coming in from the east-northeast at the surface, but aloft at 5,000 feet, they're coming in from the south-southeast. So therefore, we do have a very high chance of tornadoes today and anywhere across Florida, and eventually working on up toward the Georgia coastline and South Carolina coastline as well. This is not necessarily right near the eye of the storm. Keep in mind, these are your rain bands coming in around that center. It's an 8, a TORCON of an 8 for South Florida, East Central Florida as well. That basically means an 80% chance that we will see tornadoes. That's pretty likely. And then as we move on up towards northeast Florida and the coastal sections of Georgia, including Savannah, that's where we also have a chance of tornadoes today. Typically, they do not, they don't grow in size like they do across Tornado Alley in the plains. They're very short-lived. They're a little bit smaller and weaker, but they can still do harm and damage. And typically, they're shallow. They're common in that northeast quadrant of any tropical system as it approaches the coastline. So as we get into tomorrow, we're still going to be dealing with that severe threat across much of Georgia, northern Florida as well, over towards South Carolina. Even though you're enough away from the center of our circulation, you're not going to be able to escape some of these outer rain bands that could produce tornadoes. So it's an 8 for eastern Georgia, a 6 for northeastern Florida. So a 60 to 80% chance of tornadoes across these areas, and a 4 for the interior sections, say from Macon on up towards Atlanta, where, by the way, Atlanta just upgraded to a tropical storm warning. And already we've seen some colleges and schools closing for tomorrow as a result of the threat from Irma. We want to talk about the power outages because that is very real as well. We're worried about trees that are going to be coming down in the Atlanta area, parts of Alabama, South Carolina, and of course all of Florida. Widespread outages expected. Not possible, but expected here because of all the trees that are going to come down on power lines. You've got very heavy rain coming down, saturating the ground.